Litecoin is on its way up, and no better time than to do a review on the latest game that has actually dropped on the Litecoin blockchain. It's an RPG, and you know I love RPGs. We're going to cover all about it, how you can actually earn through the app, and trade with your fellow LiteBringers in this special review. Are you ready? Friends, thanks again for joining me. So today we're talking about blockchain gaming. I know you see my game streams that I do every week on Thursday, where I always feature my favorite blockchain games and we stream, and it's a Secret Agent Stash show. If you haven't checked it out, definitely make sure you check it out on my Theta channel every Thursday at 4 p.m. But today we're stepping outside of that box a little bit, and we're looking at a Litecoin-based game that is actually an RPG. And this is an on-chain game, so we're going to take a look at the game called LiteBringer today, and I'm going to show you around the game how it works and give you my opinion on what I think in general. So let's go take a look at this, but before we get started, if you're not already a part of my community of stashers, you don't need a mustache to join, but you do need to love learning about crypto with the community, and you can sign up through my Telegram link below. It's there. It's there. Okay, so let's go look at this game. So LiteBringer is an RPG, and it's actually a Litecoin-based game that is all on-chain. So all the actions that you're doing here are on-chain actions. Now, this game is not a free-to-play game, so most of the time I do feature free-to-play games on here, but because all of the actions of this game are actually all on-chain actions, you do have to pay a miner's fee, right? So we know that if you're doing a blockchain transaction here with these types of networks that are proof of work, you've got to pay a miner fee. Now, LiteBringer, the game itself, isn't actually charging any fees, but you do have to pay the fees here. So that is something you do have to take into consideration. When you're first starting up the game, you do have to be able to send some Litecoin or lights to your wallet. Your in-game wallet. And that's usually one of the first steps. Obviously, you want to download the game. But for those that are not very familiar with Litecoin or the Litecoin blockchain, small units of Litecoin are called lights. And that's a very big, important part of this game, LiteBringer, because everything works on lights, right? And it's a small fraction of a Litecoin. And so these are real. This is real cryptocurrency that this game is using, and so you do need to load up your wallet. So once you get started here, you're gonna to register your a wallet. Make sure you write down your actual private key, or save your private key. It'll prompt you to actually download a PDF of the private key. Now here's one key piece of information that I got wrong the first time: is don't forget the password that they actually ask you to create when you're creating this wallet. Because this is not a password that you can then go and recover. It is tied to your private key. So when you create that private key and you download that PDF, make sure you save your password somewhere as well, because there's no way to reset that password. Now you may be thinking, hey Stash, I know this sounds great. I signed up, but I don't have any Litecoin. Well, they do have a faucet, which is actually pretty cool. So once you're actually logged into your account, signing up is free. But just sending your guys out on quests, which we'll cover here in a second, is not, as well as other actions in the game. But once you are actually logged in, you'll be able to go and go to this faucet and see, and they give out 10 sets of 10 lights every hour. So 10 people may have come and claimed those sets of 10 lights every hour, but you can get 10 lights from this faucet if you go there. And I think that it is limited though, so you can't just keep hitting it. So you can go there and try and get some free lights if you don't have anything to get started with. So right there at the box, whereas we say, okay, well, it's not free to play. Well, they do give you a way to be able to get some free Litecoin to be able to get started on the actual game itself. Okay, so let's log in here. Put my password in for my address, and that is my public Litecoin address there, you can see. Now this is one thing that I will say that I have not a huge issue with, but when you first load the game every day, or first load the game, it's always going to be syncing the Litecoin blockchain. And so what I found is that's about 400 to 500 megabytes every day when I go load the app. So it does take some time in the beginning to sync with that. Now, you're not downloading 400 or 500 megabytes, but you are syncing that amount of data here because it has to be synced to the Litecoin blockchain to be able to play the game. And as you can see, now that I'm logging in, there's also an additional a loading period here where you're syncing with the servers here. So you can see right now it looks like it's maybe going to take me a minute or two to do so. So still waiting here, and like I said, once again, this is kind of one of the things that I would say is a little bit of an issue. If they can find some way to get around this issue or load it in the background as you're playing the game, that might also be good as well. But right now, it's definitely something necessary here for LiteBringer. Three, two, and one. Loading. There we go. Okay, so as you guys can see, here is the main screen. This is what you're going to see when you first start the game. Now, obviously, I've already created some characters here and played a little bit, and we'll show you exactly what that looks like in a second. So now that we're all loaded up, here's our character screen. You'll start off with no characters, and you want to be able to create a character, so you can start off with either creating a fighter, a rogue, or a sorcerer. Now, the good thing about this is even though there's only 3 choices, you can level up these characters as well as gear as the game goes on. And so the advanced classes, there's actually 3 more classes for each one of these that you can pick from. And so you can see it when you get to your advanced class as a sorcerer, you can become either a battle mage, a priest, or a warlock. And these give you increased abilities well beyond the starter classes, and this is really what you're looking to get to if you really want to start playing this game. Because you can see right now, just starting off, I only have speed as my attribute, and then this gives me and one skill here, which is slow as a sorcerer. But then as I can specialize here, I get a bunch of extra skills and a bunch of extra attributes, right? So this allows you to specialize a little bit better against some of the hordes. So you can see like a priest has skills like heal and other things there that support them. Same thing with rogue and fighter, all have their separate classes: assassin, pirate, and bard for rogue, warrior, knight, and paladin for a fighter. So once you've created that character, now this is where it gets a little tricky. You can create as many characters as you want, but you have to have a subscription for those characters. So the characters are essentially something you have to pay lights for on a monthly basis, and also pay for every transaction here. So this may be a little bit too much for some people to be able to want to buy in right from the beginning, but this is essentially what you have to do to get set up. So you can see right now I have one character with a subscription of 16,690 blocks, which equates to about 30 days worth of playtime that I can have with this character. Now, that subscription did cost me like 2.5 lights. You can see here down at the bottom, I have this account has about 5.98 lights on it. You can see right now both of my characters have kind of finished. This second character, which has no levels and hasn't been used, has no subscription. So you can see if I want to go send him out, like when you click on a character, you can go see the map that where they're at, and you can send them out to go fight. Now, obviously, like I said, this character has just gotten started. He has no subscription. So if I click on send quest, you have to buy a subscription for him to be able to be sent out normally. So this is essentially normally what you would have to do. So you can see right here, it says approximately 30 days to be able to do that, and then there's a minor fee associated with sending him on his quest there. So let's go take a look here at some of the other screens we have in the game. The depot is essentially where you manage your items and resources, and you collect items and resources as you go and quest. So this is where you can go and you can see all the stats on them, what level they are, how much power they give you. Power is your main stat here in the game. And then you can also, so when we talked about, the fact that you can kind of, this does have some play to earn elements here where you can go and sell some of these, the gear and stuff that you're making in the marketplace. And you can see that there's some buy offers here. Let's go look at all the offers here. So here are a bunch of things. So you can see like people are selling characters. You can sell items. as well. So if we search items instead, you can see here people selling some equipment like Necklace of Disarming, which looks like it is a rare version, and quite a few other elements here. So you can see 1.57 lights, 5 lights, 31 lights for this equipment, this armor right here, worn chain leggings. So you can go here. So whenever you find equipment and gear, you can go and sell it for actual Litecoins. And when you talk about play to earn, you can be going in, doing these quests, and then coming here to the marketplace and selling that really great piece of equipment if you're not going to be using it. Or, and you can come here to create, and this is where you would come to create your sell offer, right? So if you want to sell a character, equipment, or resources, you'd go there. Now, obviously here, when we talked about before, this game is all on chain. So here are all the transaction IDs for every quest I've ever sent my characters on. So you can see kind of what that looks like here on chain. Now let's go to my character here who is just waiting to be sent on a brand new mission. You can see here is the map. And the map shows you all the different places you can go. Now, based upon my character's level and power, I can access all the ones that have a green circle around them. If they have a red circle, that means I'm not powerful enough to get there yet. So let's go send my character on a mission here. We're going to send them to a shrine, actually. This looks like it's the Darkness Shrine. And shrines help you to level up your gear in the game. You can see here, right, so here's the total. It's 0.00138 lights to send my character on this mission here. So this is a pretty passive game. There's no active element here where it's like, oh, hey, I'm actually fighting something. I got to do something here, right? So you can see that it's preparing for this quest, and it'll be done in a short amount of time. So while we're doing that, I did want to kind of show you a little bit more about these shrines. So you can see that in my inventory here, I'm going to drag this stuff to my other character's inventory. Each one of my weapons has a indicator here of what type it is. So you can see this one is like nature. This one is, what did it say? Element is like, I think that's physical. Yep, physical. And then this one is holy. And so to upgrade these pieces of armor, that you need the actual elements that you get from beating the temples, right? So these temples are where you go to get the elements to upgrade your different pieces of armor. And so you can see right now, it's had 0 evolves on any of these armors. But that's essentially why you would want to go to a shrine versus going to you see I'm still preparing here. So going to a shrine versus going to just fighting a monster, right? And there we go. So we're done. So the character is done. We can see it's leveled up a little bit. It's gone and it's done that. So you can see now I've checked this one off, and I've defeated the Darkness Shrine here. If we go back to our thing, you can see now we can see what loot I got. So here is the loot. I got 1 element stone, darkness. So the element stones, these elements are what you need to like I said, level up your gear. Now let's go and take a look at what so here we can go fight this guy. A non-shrine one looks like. So you can see here the power plus XP that I would get and how many rounds it will take 2 blocks effectively. So I'll send it on the quest here, confirm it. You can see the minor fees are pretty much the same every time. And now he'll be sent out on his quest. And this is basically how the game works. It's a rinse and repeat. You just go and you continue to level up your characters by sending them on quests, leveling up the gear by getting more element stones, and then selling any gear that you might not need or want anymore in the marketplace for extra lights that you can then use to go back on more quests, right? So it's very cyclic here, but I think that, whereas there's not a lot of gameplay in this game, it can be a very passive game if you're just looking to have something going on in the background, maybe while you're working or while you're hanging out, something you can just go quickly jump in here, send your guys on quests, and then get the loot later whenever you want to get back to it. So it is a very passive game, but it is a pretty cool showcase of what that you can do with an on-chain game here and how fast Litecoin actually is. So I think that's actually a pretty interesting and unique element about this game in general. So hopefully you guys like this look at LiteBringer, which is the very first Litecoin-based RPG game out there where you can actually play to earn and go sell some of the gear and stuff that you're finding or using or leveling your characters up. You can sell characters as well for extra Litecoin. So I think that's a pretty cool thing when we talk about play to earn. Here's yet another really great example that's not on Ethereum, guys. This means that these blockchains and products are moving forward on other chains, and that's a great sign for the blockchain gaming industry in general. Well, that's all I have for today, folks. Until next time, stash that crypto, friends.